My eyes go wide as I recognize the blonde-haired individual who's looming over the iguana-masked ban. My breath hitches in my throat, and I attempt to level my blade with my left arm. I quickly glance back at the bat-masked ban,
She waves.
gesturing for her to stop before she hits her club against another tree, and pointing over to the bank of trees on her right. I motion with my head to the trees on the left, hoping that she gets my intent of flanking.
As you turn around, you notice something's missing.
Fuck! I very quickly back up, closing the distance between myself and the bat mask ban. Without turning to her, I keep my eyes on the tree side to the left. How good are you in a close quarters fight? How familiar are you with being attacked from
She braces the club in the crook of her neck and holds her hands a distance apart. It is entirely unintelligible what that means.
So, like, captivated by the movement, my eyes unconsciously shift to see what's happening, and I notice her gesture.
She moves them slightly closer together, seeing that you're now paying direct attention.
So, like, that's not... Your hands are almost touching. You're not really...
She pulls them apart a little bit more.
Okay. That's workable. All right, listen. I want you to watch my back as we approach the tree. I can't quite make out my the band. I guess my friends.
She shrugs.
Yeah, they're friends.
She holds her hands a distance apart.
Okay, just follow me. Whatever. I slowly begin inching forward, keeping my eyes on the surrounding trees, and also glancing behind me to make sure, A, the bat-masked band is following, B, that she's not menacing me too hard.
No guarantees on that second one, but you manage to wander your way slightly into the glade. You sense thick animosity in the air. The ground is littered with weaponry you recognize of the band's design. The bodies scattered across the ground are in a nearly untouched state. There's a surprising lack of blood for what you'd consider to be a crazy, horrible murder scene. You recognize a few of the figures from your cadre that traveled with you. However, some are unknown. Not all of your people are accounted for.
I narrow my eyes, glancing at the ones that came from my own group. Do I see any movement, breathing, or rustling of any kind?
You don't notice any rustling right now. However, there is one figure slightly moving, braced up against the tree.
Iggy! No.
Suddenly, from behind, you hear a great trundling.
Trundling? All right, I trust that the Bat Mask Band has my back and keep moving forward. Though I've now broken out in a cold sweat, I trust in the Bat Masked Band, and I move forward, glancing at the band that I pass.
You recognize the boar-masked individual that you pass by to your left. And to your right, you recognize one of the fox-masked individuals.
I very briefly glance down at the boar-masked individual now that I'm closer.
He appears to be stone cold dead. The trundling grows louder.
Okay, I quicken my pace and sprint over to Iggy.
You reach down and appraise Iggy. He's not doing so well. He's losing a lot of blood from various wounds. The noise grows louder. A sudden rattling, and then from behind, oh, Ashe!
Yeah, Thog?
Yeah, you're doing... Oh, wow. What a
Yeah, it wasn't me.
No, the little blonde psychopath built himself a nice murder pile in here.
Fucking Gregor's newest friend.
Good, Thug says, loading more ammunition into his gun.
And listen, he's still around here somewhere. I'm pretty sure
What the fuck, you did... Okay.
Yeah, he
Thug
got away!
suddenly backs up.
Look, I'm just glad that you're all right. I take stock of the band that Thog brought with him.
With Thog's appearance, all of your group is accounted for, in fact.
Okay, well...
Whether they're alive or dead on the ground around you.
I close my eyes for a moment and grind my teeth. But then turn to Iggy, while also addressing Thog. Look, Thog, Iggy's alive, but I need to figure out what's wrong. I need to patch him back up. Can you just keep an eye out? As much as I hate to say it, I'd like to catch this little shit before we head to that fort. If Jin and his forces try and move through here while Zalvetta's still on the loose, well, I mean, it wouldn't turn out too well for them.
Honestly, I'm less concerned about that and more concerned about fucking not dying.
Thog will be fine, okay?
You say as you hear a distinct scraping sound in the woods.
Yep.
Think he's coming back,
Yep.
Thug says.
No, I know. I'm partially distracted, working on Iggy's wounds.
He's in exceedingly bad shape. You can tell if he doesn't get immediate and extensive attention, he's gonna bleed out. This is full-on Gregor cut in half by Dunstan scenario, right?
Okay, Thog, he's really bad. I'm gonna need some time for this.
Suddenly, something flicks out of the woods, striking the back of the standing bird-masked man. With an ugly thud, he falls over.
Shit! Everybody pull in! Get closer! He obviously likes throwing shit, so just watch out for that.
Your remaining troops press in. Your assailant circles you through the woods. You have a pretty good impression of where he's at. However, Iggy is taking the majority of your attention. A critical decision runs through Ashe's head. Does she defend herself, trying to protect the people around her? Or does she tend to her friend on the ground?
The sound of my grinding teeth is audible. I glance around, ice in my veins as the realization strikes me.
Thog audibly sweats.
I grip Iggy's shoulder, my face going even more pale than it already is, and in a hushed tone, I whisper, "Hang on for a little bit longer, okay, Iggy? Just hang on." Rather than striving for the usual elegance or care that goes into the healing, I make it slapdash. Very, very, shoddy. Ad hoc. I don't focus on reknitting the skin. All I focus on is closing the wound and stopping the flow of blood.
From the woods, stalks out at a surprisingly normal speed, the tiny blonde-haired shit, as you're calling him. He takes one careful step after the other, moving through the long grass.
I glance over at Thog and hold up my hand, seeing Thog level his gun at the blonde-haired assassin. I clench my fist, knuckles going white, and I let my hand fall back down to my side. Zalvetta?
Seemingly caught in a trance of his own, he takes a few steps forward, stands over the birdmask man, and lightly throws a curved something into him. The man, prone on the ground, ceases twitching. He reaches down and lifts a short sword, testing its weight.
Thog swears he hears the sound of one of my teeth finally crack. I speak, barely, glaring at Zalvetta. "Listen, Zalvetta, I don't want to have to fight you. If we end up fighting, chances are that one of us will die. And as much as I hate to say it, I don't want to kill one of my friends. Friends, think about this."
He places a hand against the back of his neck and lightly cracks it. "Then run away. I don't really feel like killing you either." He suddenly hunkers down and sprints forward.
I toss my blade down, eyes deathly serious, and lunge at him with both arms outstretched, with both hands stretched wide, the claws ready to sink in. I'm gonna grapple that little shit.
Both your arms arc forward just in time to realize, oh, he's concealing another weapon. Something curved and ugly swings up from his waist. Both of your arms swing outwards. However, his attack is stopped short by your two band buddies, club and blade stopping his weapon midair.
Barely paying any heed to what's happened, I duck under the blade and the club, further closing the distance between myself and the assassin. I lunge for him, immediately grabbing him by the back of his head and slamming his face into the nearest blade.
Suddenly, his form juts backwards, legs giving way. He falls to the ground, hitting his body on a pile of weapons. It looks rather unpleasant. However, from the dirt wing two short swords. One impacts the neck of the band you're directly next to, showering you with blood.
Seeing what's happened, I react as quick as I possibly can. I grab the hilt of the blade jutting out of the band's neck, placing my other hand on his forehead. I yank the blade out. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Just breathe. It's okay.
A sudden crack comes from directly next to you as Batmask makes a fucking path. Zalvetta's hit with a bullet in one of his extremities. He rolls backwards and lobs yet another weapon at you.
Shit, I'm too preoccupied healing the Foxmask band to do anything.
Ashe's thigh is stuck through with yet another short blade. Serrated this time.
I glance down, making a quick mental note not to pull it back out.
With a flash, the assassin disappears once again, this time leaving behind a trail of blood.
Having kept my balance for as long as I can, I slump back to the ground, taking the weight off of my impaled leg. I glance up at the neck of the fox-masked man, making certain that the wound has at least shut enough.
This man is a neck wound! He's going to die!
I drag myself between Iggy and the fox-masked man. Slumping between the two of them, I keep a hand on each, very faint sparks jumping between me and them. Through pained breaths, I struggle out the words, "Get me a body."
Thog turns around and stares at you, eyes full of incredulity. What? The Batmask man, however, takes one step forward
You
and
fucking heard
quickly
me!
potato sacks the dead body right over to you.
I take my hands off of the two of them, mutter under my breath, "I'm so sorry." I steady my shaking hands and slice the skin away from the neck of the dead man, moving it over to the fox-masked man in critical condition, and do my best to seal the wounds using the now severed flesh as extra material.
Upon doing so, you notice that there's something a little off about these two individuals. The match is perfect, and your magic is able to actually do this with worrying ease. However, their physiology seems a little weird.
Does it look like it's taking it all?
Yeah?
Will Foxy 2 stop bleeding to death?
Oh yeah, certainly the bleeding will stop.
Okay, I just don't die. I glance back over at Iggy, looking for where Iggy is severely wounded.
Once again, the assassin returns from the woods. The individuals in front of you make a shield.
Don't worry about protecting me. Just get him! Get Zalvetta and beat him to death!
Both the bat and the fox dash forward instantaneously. Thog moves in and lowers his gun. Club and sword sing through the air. However, neither has the basic, let's say, dexterity to hit a fighter this nimble. With a single graceful step, Zalvetta moves forward, turns, and slices the fox-masked man, the remaining fox-masked man, across the chest.
I inhale sharply as I see this.
With a kick, he impacts the chest of the bat-masked man, sending her tripping backwards over the boar-masked individual. She falls into a pile of weaponry. In a split second, he's dashing forward yet again on top of both you and Thog.
As I hear the footsteps quickening closer, I yell, "Shoot!" And I dodge around Thog, several more teeth cracking as I pivot on my one good leg, ripping the serrated blade out of my other and attempting to swing it straight into Zalvetta, slithering sparks crackling along my arms.
Your attacker impacts both you and Thog. He forces Thog's arms up. You manage to catch him in the upper arm with your blade. However, in one motion, he drives his rather minuscule form into your chest, knocking you into a body. He reaches down to the ground, lifting a hatchet placed beside him, and the end of his weapon is actually relatively quickly caught by the fox-masked man. Bleeding heavily from a wound on his chest, he manages to separate the blonde kid from you. He drags him backwards and puts some distance between you and him.
I shout, "Break his arms!" I scramble over the still living body and the dead body as I see several spurts of blood oozing out from under Iggy's mask. I very hastily, hands shaking, my own wounds bleeding heavily, haphazardly carve bits of flesh from the dead man, attempting to patch Iggy back together so that he doesn't die this exact moment.
Once again, another attack comes at your kneeling form. However, the fox-masked man, determined and probably beyond the point of pain at this point, shields both you and Iggy with his still living body. He takes an attack and Thog dives forward, managing to force Zalvetta back once again. This fight is growing increasingly brutal. The Batmask man charges forward with her club held aloft. The posture proves to be incredibly dumb as Zalvetta simply juts forward his strange crescent-like weapon, hitting her directly in the chest with it. She stumbles backwards like a frickin' moron.
Panicked beyond a point I ever thought possible, losing more blood than I thought I had, Robbed of most of my mobility, I struggle to stand but fail, one bum leg and most of my blood on the ground. I glance over at Thog, struggling as hard as I can to get out the words. Thog, I'm gonna try something. I can't get to you, but here we go. I very harshly grip Iggy, his still healing wounds as mush beneath my fingertips. A rabid green spark, thick as an arm, jumps into his body. He spasms for a moment. It leaps from him to the Fox-masked man to Thog. Thog is energized.
The power courses through the three individuals. First Iggy, many of his wounds reopening. Then the Fox-masked man, whose contorting body suddenly goes limp. He slumps over.
No!
The power travels directly to Thog, who then quickly swings a fist at Zalvetta. Thog's punch, a strong right hook that he's ever so used to, flies with an incredible amount of speed. Some would say with additional life force. It cracks Zalvetta in the fucking jaw.
I take a brief moment of deep satisfaction as I hear the sound of Zalvetta's jaw breaking into 100 pieces echo throughout the clearing.
Zalvetta stumbles to the side. The unexpected impact of a simple right hook driving him backwards. He grips his chin, blood running freely from his nose. Thog flicks the blood off of his fist, looking satisfied for a moment before turning, seeing the Fox-masked man on the ground, and flashing you a very telling look. You can already hear Thog's voice now. You kill that guy?
I push it to the back of my mind, not physically, mentally, or emotionally capable to deal with that right now.
The look lasts but a mere moment before Thog returns to his battle posture.
Suddenly an idea thunders through my head, spurned forward by the atrocities I've just committed. I struggle with my bum leg and my failing mobility, managing one hop. I trip, but have already reached my goal. Using my forward momentum, I grab the recently deceased, doing my best to put all of this out of my mind, and I topple over Zalvetta. I drape the body over him, getting as much skin-to-skin contact with the dead body as possible. Running several gruesome charges through the ban, aiming for Zalvetta's abdomen. I try and knit their flesh together.
As your magic sparks between the two connected individuals, you get a sudden, you gain the normal comprehension that you usually do as you heal a person. You gain a sense of exactly, of what exactly the individual who's, passed is, and once again, you sense another oddity. But that is nothing compared to the oddities you sense within Zalvetta. Multiple interconnected layers of something already exist within this individual. Shit is fucked up beyond belief. And adding to that fact, you feel your power jump one body to another. A vast expenditure of energy. Power crackles from your body to theirs. You feel something burning within your own head. Stars flash before your eyes. You stumble forwards, unsure of whether the magic succeeded or failed, unable to maintain your balance. Suddenly, the world spins. You impact the cool grass. You used way too much power.
Collapsing backwards, I barely feel anything at all. Most of my body completely numb by this point. I do, however, feel the sensations of myself dry heaving. My body very, very angry with this recent expenditure. I nearly vomit the words, "Dog, it's you!"
Through blurred and flashing eyes, you watch the blonde-haired individual slowly straighten up, throwing the body of the Fox-masked man to the side. His features seem distorted, elongated. Your sense of time begins to fade a little bit. All you know is a few moments later, he's standing, weapon held aloft. He brings it down very quietly onto the throat of the Fox-masked man. He turns around and casts his eyes on you. You stare into the face of something particularly unnatural, particularly gruesome. Meanwhile, in a faraway place, Marcus was engaged in his own fight to the death. In one hand, he has clutched a cup of steaming brew. In the other, he's clasped the hand of a particularly burly, shirtless Gold Clan guard. Marcus himself has unbuttoned the top few buttons of his shirt. His seduction angle is clearly not hitting home.
I'm attempting to grin attractively at all of those around me, and especially at my opponent, but I'm so worried it's turned into something of a manic leer that probably has the opposite of the desired effect.
But isn't to love and lose a form of winning in itself? Is winning at love itself not a form of loss, in that you are not losing out on the loss you experience when you lose at love? The man takes a sip of his drink, putting increased pressure on your arm. You feel something cracking.
Is it not undesirable to just spout a sentence off as rapidly as you can, rapidly interchanging the words lose and love? I raise an eyebrow.
Indeed, the quickness of the sentence much parallels the quickness of love. Things in this world are fleeting, just like love. Would you say that love is fleeting?
I would say that many things are fleeting. Love for one. The snowy owl under the bright moon. The rabbit fleeing from said owl.
Are we not rabbits all fleeing from our own owl?
No, you see, I am my own owl. And the world is my rabbit.
Then what, pray tell, will you do when you catch the rabbit?
I shall feast. I shall feast under that pale, blood-red moon. And I'll win. Just like I'm gonna win right now!
Slam! Marcus's hand hits the table. Ow!
You hear the creak of calcium-deficient bone.
Honestly, it was pretty good. I was about to give you a lot of credit for that, but you said you'd eat the world.
I mean, it was figurative. Like,
the man slaps his forehead. It was a metaphor, of course.
So, mistrial? I look around.
Fury puts up a hand. I don't think that's how it works.
I don't know how it works. I'm using the closest approximation of terms that I can manage here.
I believe you've already lost, so you've lost for all eternity.
Fuck. Man, nobody could be having a worse day than me.